When you're struggling with binge eating disorder, every holiday meal, event, or treat can feel like a setup for failure. While the holidays might look different for many of us this year, in today's video, I'm going to provide you with a plan so that you can prepare yourself to manage your binge eating disorder during the holidays. For in-depth information and strategies for managing your eating disorder, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell in the corner so you're notified when I publish a new video every Wednesday. I'm Meredith Mackenzie of Parallel Wellness. I'm a registered clinical counselor, eating disorders therapist, and doctoral graduate student. In my work with hundreds of clients with eating disorders, I've helped them to loosen the grips of their eating disorder so they can live fulfilling lives with freedom from food and compensatory behaviors. Now it's your turn. Before we get started, I want to provide a disclaimer. While I am a registered clinical counselor, the information in this video is for educational and informational purposes only. If you are concerned that you may have an eating disorder, please reach out to your physician, dietitian, or eating disorder therapist today. To start, there's two things we need to keep in mind. The first thing is that binge eating follows a common cycle: restriction, binge eating, and then an avalanche of emotions. If you want to learn more about this, check out my video on the science of the binge eating cycle, where I go fully into depth on why this cycle continuously happens for people. When we recognize that binge eating follows a cycle, we can predict the cycle and we can stop it at different points to help prevent binge eating. The second thing I want to point out is how important it is to be gentle with yourself at this time of year. And I hope that you can be gentle with the expectations you put upon yourself at this time as well. Binge eating disorder recovery happens gradually. It's a day-by-day, moment-by-moment experience. And I know a lot of people head into the holidays with a lot of fear and stress about whether or not they're going to struggle with binge eating during this time. And the truth is, you probably will. If you struggle with binge eating disorder all the other days of the year, it's likely going to come up at the holiday time. Holidays are racked with stress for many of us, and this year we're living in a global pandemic, so it's only understandable that this would be an even harder time for many people who struggle with binge eating disorder. So my hope for you is that in watching this video, you can learn something about how to manage your binge eating disorder, but also that you can take some time to really be gentle with yourself, recognize how difficult this is, and that you are trying your hardest, and not to put undue expectations or pressure on yourself to be perfect and to totally recover from your binge eating disorder during the holiday seasons. Overall, this video is going to help you to feel more prepared in heading into the holiday season and managing your binge eating disorder. My first tip is to identify your worst case scenarios. Think back to events, scenarios, situations that really created vulnerability for you in your binge eating, and then plan accordingly. This is a skill that I think is so important in binge eating disorder recovery, so I'm actually going to be covering it more in depth in my coming video next week. So subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for that. But for now, think about the areas that are most challenging for you, the ones that you know create vulnerability and urges for binge eating. And what is it specifically about these situations that cause you to feel so on edge or as though you really can't handle the binge eating urges that you're experiencing? There is key information in learning from past experiences and something that you can take from these experiences into future ones. So I encourage you to take some time to really reflect on this and even write out a plan for how you will handle these types of worst case scenarios when they pop up in the future. Eating consistently and in a balanced way is so important for managing binge eating disorder, especially during the holidays. A big part of managing binge eating is managing the restriction phase of the binge eating cycle. And this includes both restricting in physical ways by reducing the amount of portions that you're eating or the variety of foods that you're eating, and the mental restriction that goes along with the thoughts of what I should and shouldn't be eating. If you carry around these beliefs about what you shouldn't be eating and what you're avoiding, it actually causes a restriction mindset that only serves to perpetuate the binge eating cycle. So dieting in preparation for the holidays, or not eating before a big meal that's going to be coming later in the day, are all types of restriction that actually sets you up for binge eating later on. Plus, restriction only strengthens the relationship that we have with binge eating and the emotional ties that underlie it. This leads to a relationship where we avoid binge eating, it's fearful, it's something we really don't want to do, but then we also on one hand look forward to it, and it's something comforting and exciting and exhilarating that when we finally get to eat those things, we know it's going to feel like a release. We want to stop that. We want to stop having that type of relationship with food. And so that starts with stopping restriction. So this might be a really good point for you to start working with a dietitian. A dietitian, especially one that's knowledgeable about eating disorders and binge eating, can help you create a plan that not only satisfies the energy needs that your body has, but also makes sure that it balances your sugar levels throughout the day and prevents you from binge eating later on. Personally, I go with the motto that all foods are acceptable, and eating different foods in combination with one another helps to satisfy my body's needs. My next tip is to manage your vulnerabilities. Research shows that stress is a major vulnerability for anyone who struggles with binge eating disorder. And holidays are inherently stressful for many of us, even if that's an exciting kind of stress or looking forward to and anticipating the coming holiday season. Now is the time to focus on self-care, getting lots of sleep, eating in a balanced way, taking the medications that you're prescribed, and sometimes saying no to some of the things that you would like to be able to do, but when you do them, it feels like your calendar and your time is just too tight, too constricted, and that you need more time for yourself. Take the time for relaxation. Take the time to manage your stress now in preparation for the coming season, when you know that your stress levels are likely going to increase. And take some time to really recognize what specifically makes you feel vulnerable and what type of stressors really impact your well-being. And then be mindful of these so you can reduce them and protect yourself. I love hearing from you, and I really want to provide you with helpful tools and strategies to manage your binge eating disorder recovery. So I'm planning a question and answer video that I just want to answer all of your questions. Whatever you have to ask me, I want to answer it. If you have a burning question, leave a comment in the comment section down below where I'll see it and I'll respond in my upcoming video. Now, my next tip is to be mindful of your urges. Let's be real, you're going to have urges to binge eat during the holidays. Expect these and let's be prepared for them. Practice catching the urge as you feel it rise up in your body and notice as your thoughts start to shift. This might be a scenario that you associate with panic and feelings as though you're about to lose control. I hear you, this can be a really scary point, but as you build your awareness for your urges for binge eating, you'll also begin to develop a distance between yourself and your binge eating urges, so you're able to actively take action to prevent yourself from binge eating and acting on those urges that you're feeling. And this might sound overwhelming right now, and I'm going to be covering this more in future videos on this channel. And I know that it's not something that can be just created overnight, but it's a skill that you really need to practice and notice yourself having those urges so that you can start to make that distance from what you're feeling and how you're going to act and proceed. Speaking of this, my next tip is to delay and distract. And this is one of my favorite set of tips. Honestly, I think it deserves a video all on its own, so I might do that. These are 2 tricks in one that help prevent and reduce binge eating. The first part is delaying. And what you want to do is when you feel that rise, that urge for binge eating, you want to do whatever you can in that moment to delay acting on the urge. This really strengthens that space between the emotions that you're experiencing, the thoughts that you have that you want to binge eat, and the action of actually acting on them. This time delay also helps the strength of that urge dissipate so it doesn't feel so overwhelming. Imagine the initial binge that you're feeling coming at maybe an 8 or a 9 out of 10. Super strong, you really want to do it. And in that moment, if you were to listen to that urge, you would probably binge eat. By delaying it, you're able to give yourself time for that urge to come down to maybe a 6 or a 7, where it feels more manageable, as though you can have more reaction time and that you can act in a way that you feel fits best with your values and what you're trying to accomplish with your binge eating disorder recovery. Now, the second part of the skill is distracting. And this is what you want to do within that time that you're delaying the urge. And this is something you can plan for. At a gathering, maybe you get into a deep conversation with somebody that you're close with, or you decide to help out in the kitchen and clean up the dishes. Really what you're doing is you're distracting yourself in that delay period so that you're doing something completely unrelated, something that's not going to remind you of binge eating, and take your mind elsewhere. At home, try to have a hobby available to you that'll keep your hands busy. Maybe that's knitting or folding the laundry or anything that's just going to keep, again, your hand and your mind occupied. You're wanting to keep your mind on something other than binge eating and food. So give this tip a try and let me know how it works out in the comments down below. Now, I wouldn't feel like this video is complete if I didn't talk about how to help recover from a binge, because we know that it's probably likely to happen during the holiday season. Now, if it does happen that you do binge eat during this holiday season, I want you to know that you have not failed. The fact alone that you are watching this video right now and that you've made it this far just goes to show how committed you are to your binge eating recovery. Please do not allow binge eating during the holidays to derail your mindset and your belief in yourself about your potential to recover from this disorder. You're doing the very best you can, and that is what matters. Recovering from binge eating is just as important as planning to prevent a binge eating episode from happening. So often, the day after a binge can go one of 2 ways. You can either recommit to restriction and say, I'm never going to allow this to happen again. You then restrict the eating that you're doing, planning smaller portion sizes or cutting out certain foods. Maybe you even restrict and don't eat anything at all. On the other hand, some people feel like this is just such a defeat and binge eating knocks them over completely and they say, why should I even bother? Screw it, I'm gonna binge again. It's gonna happen, it's done, it's over. Why bother trying? And while these are both really common responses and I can understand why you're experiencing them, please know that neither of these really are the most healthy or helpful responses to a binge eating episode. And I want to suggest taking the middle road on this. Let's press reset. Let's return to a moderate approach to eating, exercise, self-care, and just focus on being moderate. Focus on being present in the moment. Eat regularly balanced meals, shower, take some time for relaxation, and bring yourself back to equilibrium because it's quite stressful to go through these experiences of binging. A big part of your recovery from binge eating disorder is not only how you handle the urges to binge in the moment, but how quickly you come back to your stable ground. I really encourage you for you to let this be a time where you're gentle with yourself and you take it as an opportunity to learn from this experience. In the coming weeks, I'm going to be digging more into binge eating disorder and I want to know your questions. Please comment below and let me know what you're wanting to know about binge eating disorder, recovery, and how you can find some support. You can also send me a direct message on my Instagram account at Parallel Wellness. This will allow you to have a bit more privacy if you have a question that you don't necessarily want other people to see. When I do publish the video for my question and answer section, I won't be publishing anybody's personal information so that you'll have that privacy. If you're looking to get started on your eating disorder recovery journey, I've created a mindful eating log that I use in my practice with my therapy clients all the time. Click the link in the description box down below where you can go and download the mindful eating log for yourself and use it on your own. In keeping with this holiday theme, next week I'm going to be covering some worst case scenarios and how to manage them during the holiday season. So stay tuned for that. If you've enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share the video with someone else that you think would benefit from learning more about managing binge eating disorder during the holiday season. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video on Wednesday.